whether you didn't.
My favourite ever episode of the comedy Red Dwarf is a episode called Marooned, which is literally Lister and Rimmer in a spaceship, marooned, and it's 25 minutes of dialogue between them until you get the reveal at the end, which is humorous.
Do you see yourself sticking with this? Because I know ordinarily...
My only concern is what else are they going to do?
They do a lot more.
They do a lot,
and that's the thing where it's on. I've recorded it. The series is on record.
Yeah, they do
but for me, I would have to see them doing other things. You can't have a wake every week.
No, they
reintroduce. It goes over the course of the year.
Over the year. So the next episode is set on Valentine's Day.
And that's
the next episode isn't the day after the funeral. It's February now, and we're at Valentine's.
And then it's like May and August, and
I have to say as well, this feels more like a BBC One comedy than a BBC Two comedy. Fair enough. We know we've had that conversation recently.
No, I think they can get away with a tiny bit more on BBC Two than they can on BBC One.
But then, if you think about, you were saying about the two of the comedies you mentioned just there, The Royal Family and The Office, both started on BBC Two and then
that's a fair point. But
this is going to have I reckon a cult sort of word of mouth sort of appeal to it. People will tell their friends about it, and like The Royal Family, for example, as I said, it started this sort of time on BBC Two, not much fanfare, and through sort of like press word of mouth. By the third series, it's on primetime BBC One.
I never saw a trailer for this.
Mum said she'd seen a trailer of it, but she wasn't sure what it was about. She said, "Oh, I saw a trailer," and I said, "Oh, you've got to watch it." So I hope
do you think she would like it?
She would like it because we used to watch Early Doors together, and she loved the Royal Family.
I think it does have a broad appeal.
It does have a lot in common with the Royal Family. I think if you like the Royal Family, then
great idea for a podcast. Our mums talking about what they like on telly.
They'd forget. They'd be worse. My mum's worse than you when it comes to remembering names.
Oh god, yeah. Then that's the thing with the thing on the thing.
Yeah. That's what it'll be.
Oh, she's not.
But I'm surprised that some reviewers were a bit sniffy about it. I read a review, I think it was the Telegraph, that said it wasn't biting enough, and I was like, well, does it have to
biting?
Be? Yeah.
What do they mean by that, though? Do they mean nothing happened? In which case, fair enough, but that wasn't the point.
No, like biting to me means like
action-packed.
No, it's like satirical, like really sort of,
but it's not trying
biting, like social satire, maybe. But
that sounded like they tuned in wanting it to be something it completely wasn't, which is the complete wrong.
The Telegraph reviewers are a bit odd sometimes. I always find their reviews a bit odd, like they're trying to, be controversial. Going forward to another sitcom, going forward on BBC4.
Jo Brand reprising her role as Kim Wilde from Getting On. This has got Ahmed Jalili in as her husband. It's got her kids in that we heard a lot about during the 3 series of Getting On. What did you think, Matt?
I have to say, I wasn't a massive fan.
That surprises me, and do you know why?
For me, it just doesn't really know what it wants to do. Cause
I would agree.
The bits that worked for me the most were the bits that were
in the home.
Getting On, where well, it's not a home, is it? It's people's home.
Other people's. Her as a carer.
Her as the carer with the old people, with the scene where she's writing the card for the woman whose son doesn't speak to her, and the bit where she's trying to find out if the old man's had anything to eat. Because putting this into context, my grandma lived with us, and she had the care company where she had carers 4 times a day at the end. So I saw the carers coming in and out, quite a lot, and I had conversations with them. I sort of
you had conversations with the public. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm aware of the sort of routines
and the dynamic.
The dynamic, the thing about writing in the folder, for example, was like and the burning of the uniform, things like that. That's what works for me. But it seems to. Who's written this? Is it Jo Brand?
It is Jo Brand and somebody else whose name I didn't know.
Yeah.
But the problem is it doesn't spend enough time on the scenes that you and I both like.
Yeah.
It spends too much time with Ahmed Jalili in the car for no apparent reason.
This is what I was saying in terms of because in that dynamic in Getting On, Kim was this sort of sardonic, almost like the normal one.
She was us, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was us. She was our sort of proxy, whereas she is in this as well. Joe and Vicky's characters, was it Pippa and
Den Flickster?
Den Flickster were the sort of more manic ones, the sort of more comedic ones, and so they've thought, oh well, we've lost these sort of comedic, like broader characters. We need like versions of them, so they've brought in Omega Lily as the sort of, you know, almost like depressive, like private hire driver, and his colleague, and their conversations, which didn't work for me at all.
They work, but they go on for too long.
Yeah, they go on for too long, and then it almost tried to be almost like a broad sitcom where the thing where they had like the dog and the baby and the old man all in the car together.
Yeah,
and that all felt like
I think, to be fair to it, the two that follow are better.
Okay, but do you know what I mean? Did that explain to you why I wasn't a fan?
I can understand why you weren't a fan. That first episode does feel like we'll throw a load of balls up in the air and film it.
And I didn't I don't feel like I got to know the kids at all.
No, and you don't. Unfortunately, they're not very well drawn.
I didn't like the sister.
I would have liked a sitcom of Jo Brown's character just going around her day as a carer.
Like that show Nurse, but without everyone played by Paul Whitehouse.
But then perhaps coming home at the end of the day, 5 minutes with Omega Lily or whoever they cast as her husband, saying, this is what happened today. Yeah. I was really into watching her as a carer. They feel the most natural scenes. They don't feel like you're watching... That's how they trailered it
as well. Did you see the trail where they did as like a recruitment, like a trail for the advert for the care company?
There is a nice callback to getting on if you make it to the third and final episode. And I think you should.
I will try. No, I'm not going to give up on this. I appreciate that it's one of those things where it does take time to sort of...
But I don't think it's in the realms of getting on or Mum. ITV treated Gary and Gary Alone this week to a double helping of Marcella. Did you watch them on the night?
I did, actually.
A lot of people unhappy, though, by the end.
Yeah, a lot of people unhappy. I mean, we did get a resolution. You know, they did do a reveal of who the killer was, and it made sense if you went back and clues.
Well, no, that's all you can hope for, isn't it?
It made
sense. The thing is that they've done two series in one almost, because the first half of the series was
Perhaps that's what she meant when she said I've signed up for two series.
Yeah. The very first part of the show is Marcella, solving and dealing with the crime that she left the police force, about. And then in the second half of the series, we got more about the family that where the sister dies and the brother is the killer, and all of the intrigue. Her husband is part of the firm, and they're
completely
separated.
Lost on me. All that
you got a lot more of it.
Sinead Cusack family.
That's right. I will agree. It was certainly not perfect. This is not Line of Duty.
It was full of holes, apparently, from what
full of holes.
No.
Well, there's a couple of holes.
It had a style that I liked. A lot of the acting was good. I will agree that Anna Friel she has no warmth to her as an actress. No reason for you to like her. No kind of empathy. And I know she's playing a character that's supposed to be, like we've said, it's supposed to be like the woman out of the bridge, but she just doesn't have it in her to make you like her. And I know we've talked about that in previous weeks.
Yeah, because I really liked her.
Yeah, exactly. And
quite instantly.
That's the main reason I think a lot of people will go back to the bridge is her. Whereas I don't see anybody going, oh, I must watch Marcella Series 2. Anna Friel's in it. I was happy. I'm happy to say that this was done. I would watch Series 2 if it was on, but I doubt this is going to make my best of the year list.
Anyone watched Undercover?
None of us did. But what I want to say is,
I did.
And what I want to say is, without being spoilery for Gary and for myself and for the other three people that might listen, a lot of people that were were also just as unhappy about this. and is confused.
It just sort of ended.
Is this a case of they want to do doing this?
I mean,
yeah,
Silk
definitely.
just ended, didn't it?
Yeah, this ended on like a question that then didn't get answered,
and probably will never be answered now because it didn't
do you not think a second
well.
series of Undercover?
No.
No, just because the ratings have been really bad. Is that?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's what matters nowadays, and it hasn't.
It does.
Apart from the fact that people were complaining about the end,
it was almost like two different programs.
Yeah,
there was all the stuff with trying to find out who murdered who was responsible for the death of Michael Antwi, but also the stuff with President Palmer and the death row stuff, and they were both quite big stories. I mean, him being an undercover cop and everything like that. That's one big story. The other was the death row story, and they both almost felt like separate parts in this last episode.
that weren't intervened.
What was interesting was the parallels between that and Marcella of that you had two female lead characters who had fits or episodes.
But they did at least try to explain that her family didn't know she was epileptic. I mean, I think that's the thing with epilepsy, because they did diagnose it that she was epileptic. They didn't diagnose it, but they said in the thing she is epileptic. And the thing is, with epilepsy, that was what happened, as I know, because I have epilepsy. That's what happens with epilepsy. You can not have a fit for 9 months, 2 years, whatever, and then have one out of the blue. So that is what they were doing. That she had, I think, 2 or 3 fits during the series, during like really stressful moments. They struggled to know what to do, and there was something they did with the son in this last episode, which felt a bit stretched.
Well, because he was on the spectrum as well, wasn't he? So.
There was something they did.
Did you fall out of love with it, Gary? Because I noticed you were behind it a few times.
I think the problem was I went away on holiday and didn't watch it as soon as I got back.
Are you both going to?
I sort of fell behind, and I was going to say I was going to see what the consensus was of this. If people were
I think you should carry on with it because I'd like to know your thoughts. It was a solid drama, but I think your assertion at the start of the series, where you said it's something that we're not going to remember.
I still have it. I will endeavour.
I mean, I know we're in May, but we do the best of the year across the year. But I think we'll get to November or December and go, "Oh, I forgot Undercover was on."
Yeah,
And
I think the same for Marcella as well. I don't think either of them are gonna be in that top 10.
Luke, gonna locked up quickly?
I quite like this, only because I have never seen a Spanish drama and it was done well. There are things about it I don't like. There are cliches in there which I suppose are unavoidable. There's only so many things you can do with a prison drama, but Bad Girls managed to last 9 series, so what do I know? But I quite
Where's
liked
Bad Girls reference on?
Well, yeah, Orange is the New Black is on his 4th series,
I think they have made a mistake here, Channel 4, by saying, watch this, they traded the hell out of this, and then they're going, but we're only going to show the first one, and then the rest you have to sit and watch online.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are going to want to watch that online
watch
and
it on
read
your
it.
tellies as long as you've got a pin.
Well, yeah, my problem is that I've recorded that first episode. I probably won't watch it for a little bit of time, if I'm honest, because I know the next one's not available. And therefore I'm thinking...
No, the whole thing
No,
the
next one's not available on Channel 4.
No, and it never will be, but the whole series is on...
And that slightly annoys me, I don't know that this is a model that really is going to get me invested in a show.
No. I do agree with that, because if you want it, you really got to seek it out. You got to go to all 4. You got to. It's a bit of a faff. It's far easier to watch it on the telly.
And that's the problem. There's so much else on. I've got.
Well, I disagree with that. There's not an awful lot on. But,
I want to watch Follow the Money that I recorded off more for, but because that looks very good, but I haven't had the chance.
Do you want to end on talking about EastEnders? Because that's a big.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the big. The big moment, because we went on holiday, so we've been like, I'm literally 2 episodes behind.
Well, that's a shame, because I think that'd be a good thing for us to talk about.
Can I just say, I've never liked Barbara Windsor. I've never liked that character, but I think what they're doing with her is almost commendable and makes me forget all the awful stuff.
There was also another Luke favourite, a ghost appears in
yes, but I quite like the idea of a pack. I mean, that ghost with earrings on.
Throughout the episode, they had her sort of thinking she could smell smoke and thinking she could smell something burning, and then it turned out it was Pat Butcher's ghost with the bag.
Pat Butcher's
She's been in hell all this time.
But no, it's a really sweet sort of